What is going on, Giants fans? Back at it with another New York Giants training camp video. And I'm going to be doing a training camp video every couple days. I'm going to talk about which players are doing well, which players are not going well, talk about injuries, talk about Joe Judge, talk about the coaching staff, pretty much talk about everything going on with the New York Giants. And there has been a couple couple things to talk about regarding the New York Giants and training camp. Some players are doing really well. Some players obviously have had injuries with Xavier McKinney and David Mayo. They both have obviously injury with needing surgery, but I'm not going to be talking about that because obviously I just made a video about that. So I'm going to be talking about more positive stuff, talk about the players that have been doing well around training camp, players that have been playing well. Also going to be talking about the Evan Ingram and Lorenzo Carter whole heated fight, or what, I don't really know if it was really a fight. It was more like a scrum that they got into during training camp. And I'm also going to be talking about the Daniel Jones, Joe Judge making Daniel Jones not wear the no contact red jersey. I'm also going to be talking about as well. Let's start off with that. So Joe Judge is making Daniel Jones not wear the no contact red jersey. So now Daniel Jones he's allowing the Giants defensive players to now hit Daniel Jones if they're about to sack him. Obviously, if Daniel Jones is wearing that red jersey, that means Daniel Jones is not going to be hit. Obviously, during training camp, he doesn't want the Giants defensive players to hit him. Joe Judge is now allowing the defensive players to now hit Daniel Jones, I guess to test him to see how he does during a sack, because Daniel Jones had so much fumbles last year. He led the NFL in fumbles last year, not even playing a full season. He led the NFL in fumbles last year. So I guess this is a kind of an experiment to see how well Daniel Jones does holding onto the football. I do agree with Joe Judge for doing this, but I do think maybe he's being a little bit too tough on him. But I do think this does make sense because Daniel Jones was really struggled last year with fumbling. I mean, he was horrible holding onto the ball, and he's got to work on ball security. And I think this is a huge way for Daniel Jones to work on his fumbling issue. And if he can work on his fumbling, Daniel Jones can be a highly improved quarterback going into next season. And that's one of the biggest factors of being a good quarterback is holding onto the football, ball discipline. One of the biggest factors of being a good quarterback in the NFL. So, Joe Judge is making Daniel Jones take off the red jersey. He's going to be he's going to allow the defensive players on the Giants to hit him now. So we got to see, it's pretty much an experiment to see if Daniel Jones can hold on to the football if he gets sacked. And we really need Daniel Jones to improve on his ball security. The Giants desperately need Daniel Jones to work on his ball security, and let's hope Daniel Jones looks better on his ball security during training camp if Joe Judge does allow the players to hit him, if Daniel Jones does not wear the red jersey during training camp. So we'll see what happens with Daniel Jones. Let's hope he doesn't get any injury. Let's hope no injuries happen to Daniel Jones, because maybe he gets a bad hit and he's out for the year. Who knows? So let's hope Daniel Jones stays safe. He doesn't get injured. Do you think Joe Judge is being too tough on him? Put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Joe Judge's strategy on Daniel Jones not wearing the red jersey. So anyway, that's going to do it for that segment of the video. Now I'm going to move on to the players who have been doing well so far during training camp. The first player I'm going to be talking about is Leonard Williams. And Leonard Williams did suffer an injury earlier in training camp, and now Leonard Williams has recovered from his injury, and he has looked really good. He's putting everything together, and he has looked really good according to his coaches during training camp so far. And you love to hear that from Leonard Williams. A lot of Giants fans do not like Leonard Williams. Me, personally, I did not like the contract we gave him, but I think Leonard Williams is a very talented player, and I think Leonard Williams will play a lot. I think Leonard Williams is a much better player than Giants fans say he is. I just think people are really down on him because of the contract Dave Gettleman gave him. But I think Leonard Williams is a very good football player, and he has looked very good recovering from his injury so far in training camp. And you love to hear that from Leonard Williams, because I know a lot of Giants fans are down on him. And if Leonard Williams can exceed expectations this year, I feel like a lot of Giants fans will start to like Leonard Williams a little bit more. So you love to hear that from Leonard Williams. He has looked really good so far in training camp after his injury. You also get very good news from Matt Peart. Offensive line coach Mark Colombo came out and said that Matt Peart has been fantastic so far. You'd love to see that out of Matt Peart. Now, I don't expect Matt Peart to be a full season kind of player. I expect Cam Fleming to be the starting right tackle for the start of the season, but I do think Matt Peart will be the tackle by the end of the season. I think Matt Peart will be our starting right tackle for 2021. I think he'll be our everyday right tackle, but for this year, I don't see Matt Peart being the everyday, the right tackle until the very end of the season. But if Matt Peart continues to play well, maybe Cam Fleming doesn't play well or he gets injured or something like that, maybe Matt Peart's the week one right tackle. I doubt that, but if Matt Peart is playing at this insane level, maybe a little chance that maybe he gets the right tackle job week one. Now, I don't see that happening. I still see Cam Fleming being the right tackle for the New York Giants week one, but maybe if Matt Peart continues to play at an insane level during training camp, which I don't see happening, but I could see him maybe starting a little bit earlier than expected. Now, I don't see him starting week one, but I do see him maybe Matt Peart coming in around maybe coming around the bye week, maybe around mid-season. Maybe Matt Peart comes and plays a lot earlier than Giants fans expected. So who knows? Who knows? If Matt Peart continues to play well, who knows when Matt Peart will get to play? But you'd love to hear that from Mark Colombo and Matt Peart. Matt Peart has looked great so far in training camp. You love to see that from the second rounder. So what are your thoughts on Matt Peart? Put it down in the comments below. And honestly, I wasn't huge on Matt Peart when we drafted him. I thought there was better offensive linemen out there. I'd prefer guys like Matt Hennessy or like Josh Jones or any guys like that. I preferred guys like Matt Hennessy over Matt Peart, but Matt Peart has looked great so far, and I'm really starting to like this kid. I think he could be, he could play for the New York Giants a lot earlier than Giants fans expect him to play. So that's what I've heard on Matt Peart so far, and I've also heard that Sterling Shepard has played well, and you love to see that out of the longest tenured Giant. It's crazy to think that Sterling Shepard is the longest tenured Giant. It just shows how young this team is, because Sterling Shepard's 27, 28 years old. He's not an old guy. He's actually pretty young, but he's actually the longest tenured Giant. It's crazy to think that, but he is actually, fun fact, he is the longest tenured Giant on this team. That's crazy to think, but Sterling Shepard has played really well. I heard he had a touchdown. Good to hear from Sterling Shepard. He's played well so far, and yeah, you love to see that from Sterling Shepard. You love to see that from Shep. He's played really well so far. So I wanted to talk about a couple players that are playing well so far in training camp, and yeah, I'm still devastated about that McKinney injury and that Mayo injury. I'm pretty sure as Giants fans, you guys are too. It really sucks that we won't be able to watch them. So who do you think is going to play safety and linebacker? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and make sure to stay tuned for the Yankees and Braves reaction. That game starts in about an hour. Make sure to stay tuned for the Yankees and Braves doubleheader game reaction. That will come out right after the 2 games end. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Let's hope the Yankees can seal the sweep in Atlanta. Braves are a great team, but let's hope the Yankees can find a way to win at least one game against the Atlanta Braves. Garrett Cole starts game 1 against Ian Anderson, the rookie. He will be making his Major League debut, and yeah, we'd love to hear positive news about the New York Giants players playing well. You'd love to hear it from Matt Peart, Leonard Williams, and Sterling Shepard. And as I've read, all 3 of those players have been playing really well so far in training camp, and you love to see that. So that's going to do it for this video. What are your thoughts on the Joe Judge, Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones not wearing the red jersey. What are your thoughts on that? Put it down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Sterling Shepard, Matt Peart, and Leonard Williams? Do you think, I'm pretty sure you're impressed with them so far, and do you think Matt Peart maybe plays a lot earlier than expected? Do you think Matt Peart plays like week 5? Who knows at this point? I never expected Daniel Jones to play week 3. He did. Well, and technically he made his debut week 1, but he really started week 3. I never expected Daniel Jones to play that early, and he did. So maybe Matt Peart plays a lot earlier than we expected. Maybe Cam Fleming struggles for the Giants, and Matt Peart steps in and plays week 5. Who knows at this point? So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace. Let's go, Giants.